It doesn't look the greatest. I can't push the shelf back because light is getting in the way. So imagine this tomorrow, we pushed back, there'll be more room for the earrings to be more like a diagonal at the front of the table. Same thing with the prints. I didn't bother putting the rest of these brooches up because, you know, it was just to get an idea of the spacing. And I think I can just kind of figure that out when it's very colorful. That's gonna hang like across the top of the shelf just to give it a little bit more pizzazz.
See you next. See you next building.
We're now on our way to my brother-in-law and his girlfriend's house where the event is taking place.
Every time I get up today, even just for a second, someone steals my seat. Someone steals my seat. And then I have to ask them to move, and then I feel bad. Like, please, sir. Hello and welcome to another market vlog. Please excuse my appearance. I could not be bothered with makeup today. But yeah, this Saturday I'm doing a market in Birmingham. I've never done an event in Birmingham before. I've never really looked around the city centre before. I've only like been to other events as a guest, but I've never really looked around Birmingham. Cheap little microphone, by the way, just for now, to hopefully improve the audio quality of YouTube videos. Unfortunately it's wired, so it's not Bluetooth, but it's better than nothing. I know there must be a way I can connect my Blue Yeti to my iPhone, but it's just complicated and I just put things off. Maybe I'll get like a little Bluetooth microphone one day for my phone for when I'm vlogging out and about. I know. This market on Saturday is just a one-day event. It's just a little craft market rather than the big convention. It's 10 till 4, so it's shorter hours. I'm actually doing this one on my own. I can't remember the last time I did a market just by myself. I usually have my wonderful partner helping me, but I'm soloing it this Saturday. I also can't drive. Should probably learn how to drive. So my initial plan was to get the train on Saturday and come back on the same day to save money, but the train was just showing journeys with like 3 different changes. I'd have to get the train at 6 AM, so that means I'd be up at like 5, maybe even earlier, which would be too much. And the times of the trains and the changes didn't quite align properly in terms of me getting to the market for setup in time, so it would have been extremely stressful. So instead I looked up the prices of just a travel lodge in Birmingham, and the price of a travel lodge and a coach was not that much more expensive than the train ticket for one day. So I've decided to stop over on Friday before the market, so I have a much less stressful morning on Saturday, and I'm kind of glad that I've done this now. And the coach is really cheap and it takes the same amount of time as train, so yeah, I can just get a taxi to the venue from my hotel on Saturday morning and it will still be way later than having to get a train at 6 AM. Trying to do it all in one day would have been really intense. It's kind of Birmingham for me. I'm in the north, I'm in Manchester, so Birmingham is like just a little bit too far to do an event in one day without being extremely exhausted, so I'm glad I'm doing this. However, it does mean that I need to have my shit together by the end of the day tomorrow. Today is Wednesday. Like I say, it's not a very big market, so there's not as much prep to do as usual. Also because it is just me, I'm gonna have to take quite a bit less stuff than I usually do. So I have as big of a setup. I'm probably not going to bring things like my desk mats because they're a bit bulky and heavy. I want to take just like 1 big suitcase and 2 like smaller bags. I'm checking in quite early on the Friday. I paid a little bit more so I can check in at 12, so I'm going to have a little look around Birmingham, but that means I can drop my bags off. Kind of looking forward to a little solo adventure, but also like stressed. So yeah, I'm just trying to get everything done and trying to manage my time better because I'm really bad at that. Like this week I was gonna like film a sketchbook tour and get that edited, and I was also going to stream, and I was just like, no, these are terrible ideas. You just need to focus on market prep and getting everything packed, so you're not stressing. Like I'm feeling really tired today. Like I overworked yesterday. I went to bed at a reasonable time and everything, but I was overworked. I didn't have enough breaks. I didn't wind down enough in the evening. So this is your reminder to take regular breaks. Even if you feel okay, you feel like, oh, I can keep working. I can push through this and work for a few more hours. No. Take a break. If you've been sat at your desk for 2 hours looking at a screen, go to a different room in the house. Go sit on the sofa. Read a chapter of a book. Go for a walk around the block. Go fuss your pet if you have a pet. You know, make yourself a drink. It's really important to take breaks just so you don't burn out. This is just advice that I'm giving to myself more than anything. But yeah, I'm sure anyone else who is doing that freelance small business life can agree that when you manage your own time, it's very easy to overwork because you feel like you can create your own hours, but that also means that you need to schedule breaks. Yeah, so what am I doing today? I've not made loads of new stuff for this market because funds are kind of low at the moment. I've spent a lot of money on table fees for upcoming conventions, some of which I have to travel for. So this month has just been a lot of upfront costs and not a lot of income. So I've not had much money to get anything manufactured, but I still wanted to have something new to bring, so I've just made a couple of little punch needle guys to bring to this market, and I'm glad I got all of these done. And I got like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 new pieces, so I feel like that's pretty good going considering the time I have to prepare and all of that. And it feels nice to have like a little sort of teeny tiny collection. I don't expect to sell 9 of these on Saturday, but I have lots of markets coming up, like I say, so these should last me a little while. So yeah, I got inspired by Sanrio and did a few little Sanrio guys. So this is I never know how to pronounce his name. I'll put it on the screen. I'm obsessed with him at the moment. He might be one of my favourite characters, apart from Pom Pom Purin. Classic. I still have those big Pom Pom Purin punch needles. They've yet to find homes, but with the bigger punch needle pieces, I don't expect them to sell straight away. But I've made teeny tiny versions. And I've got a couple of dittos. These really just look like blobs to me, but I guess ditto is a blob. So I also made a little Keroppi. I feel like this mint green is maybe a bit too light, but then I made a Keroppi hoop. But I feel like this Keroppi, the mint green, looks more like Keroppi than this one. But I just thought I'd experiment. I wanted to have one like just hoop option. These little ones, they're going to be like brooches, and maybe not everyone will want to wear a brooch. Yeah, so I've got a bunch of those. I need to glue the backs. I need to put some glue down and then glue the felt backing and then the little brooch element to secure it onto your apparel or clothing. I still have these punch needles that I made way over a year ago. These are all done and ready to go. They're not so right. I invested in a smaller punch needle recently, which is what I did these pieces with. It took a while to get my head around and figure out which yarn works with the smaller punch needle, but you can probably tell that like it's easier to get more details in with the smaller punch needles, whereas these are a bit like, this is my bigger Oxford punch needle, which is great for the bigger pieces, but it's maybe a bit more difficult to get details into these smaller guys. So I've definitely kind of improved my technique since I made these ones, but they're still pretty cute, so I should really get around to just finishing these off and adding the backs to them, so I'm going to do that today as well. Yeah, I just need to gradually start packing. I need to make sticker sheets. That always takes so much longer than you expect, so I need to start them today, just get them printed and in the Cricut, and then I could trim them tomorrow or whatever. But I'm not gonna pack too much, like I say, because I literally can't carry that much on my own. But yeah, that's where we're at. So yeah, I just wanted to film a bit of the prep before the market, and then I will take you on the coach with me and we'll go to Birmingham and I'll show you everything. So yeah, let's get these little babies finished. into voiceover mode here because I really didn't get that many clips of the actual market, unfortunately. I will talk about how it went in just a second. I did have a bit of a day out on the Friday after I arrived in Birmingham. I went to an art gallery. The one I originally wanted to visit was shut down for refurbishment, so I stumbled across this one. I can't remember the name of the gallery. I think it was just like Birmingham's main kind of art gallery, but they had a really cool Renaissance art exhibition on, and I really enjoyed seeing all the paintings in it and some tapestries that were there too, so that was definitely a highlight of the trip. I also went to Tokyo Toys, which is very dangerous if you like cute things like Sanrio and Rilakkuma and anime and things like that. And then I had a big wander up to around the custard factory to find something to eat. The market itself, unfortunately, it didn't go so great for me. It was pretty quiet. Also, it may not have been worth me personally traveling for and having those extra expenses like staying the night before. It would have been better if you were a local person to Birmingham. I think I was just a bit too far and it was a bit too much for me to do on my own as well. This is not like a criticism of the organisers at all. They were super lovely and we definitely felt taken care of and accommodated, and the social media was good and there were free coffees and teas all day and things like that leave a good impression. It just, sadly, this is just how it goes sometimes. Like, sometimes you'll just have a quiet day. The weather was a bit rubbish as well, and also summer markets can generally be a bit hit and miss compared to like autumn and winter markets. I was getting ill because the next day I was so full of a cold, so yeah. And then after the market I had a bit of a meh, like getting back to my coach stop and everything, because the market was kind of in the suburbs, and I don't know, like the taxi service that I rang were just, I feel like they were really rude to me on the phone because I was a bit confused about the pickup location and whatever, because I didn't know the area. And then I was waiting because it was raining under the bus stop shelter, and then a woman behind me was ranting about something, and I was just really anxious and stressed, and it had been a bit of a slow market day. The coach on the way there was absolutely fine, but for some reason the coach driver on the way back was just absolutely going sick. Like, I don't know, I just felt like he was driving so fast and everyone's stuff on the coach kept flying and I felt nauseous, and yeah, it was a bit of a difficult journey home. It made me kind of reflect on a lot of things, like what I want to do in the future with my sort of illustration career and in terms of markets and events. I've been doing art markets, craft markets, illustration fairs, conventions, etc. for way over 10 years now, which is scary to say, but yeah, it has made me reflect on what I want to focus on, and I think I would rather do fewer events a year, so a couple of 2 to 3 day conventions a year as opposed to 1 day markets every weekend of every month. I think that is what I would prefer now going forward, because I also work Sundays as well. I work part-time, so it's a lot to sacrifice my Saturdays, and even just like the time spent beforehand prepping. Like I mentioned a few clips earlier, I was feeling a bit burnt out getting everything ready, and I feel like when I do longer conventions it makes more sense to have done all that prep rather than like a shorter event. So yeah, like I've really loved doing markets and like sort of cutting my teeth with them. I say that like I've been doing them for so long, but yeah, I think I just want a bit more free time to actually draw. Can you imagine drawing more often? And I'm getting really into my crochet, so I'm spending a bit more time on that. And yeah, I just to work on other projects. So I also really just think that comic conventions is where my work is more successful, if you know what I mean. Like in terms of my audience, I think they tend to be at these comic and zine fairs. That's not to say that I don't have like successful craft markets, and I'll still do a couple here and there, but yeah, going forward I think I want to invest my time and my money into longer events. That's just what works for me. And again, like, I'm sure if you were local to the market that I did in this vlog, it might be more worth doing, or if you sold different stuff to me. Factors to consider, it's not always very black and white, but yeah, I think for me personally, as someone who does too much and has too many hobbies or whatever, I really need to cut down on the markets that I actually take part in as a small business and illustrator. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed this vlog anyway. It ended up being way longer than I thought, considering I didn't get many clips of the market itself. I guess I was just yapping for a while at the start, but yeah, there's going to be a bunch more convention vlogs and stuff coming soon. There's going to be an MCM prep vlog and the actual event itself. And I still need to do some sketchbook tours, and that I still maybe want to do a crochet video, so keep an eye out for that. I'm going to get on top of my editing now, I promise. But for now, thank you so much for watching. Feel free to like and subscribe if you want more of this kind of convention and illustration and studio vlog content. And I will see you soon. Take care of yourselves. Bye bye.